Welcome to Second City News. I'm Olamide Adesonia. In the program today, why taxi journeys may become more expensive, an exhibition made of brown paper, and a great British but not Birmingham accent. But first, a smoking ban will now make it illegal to smoke in cars carrying children. The legislation passed yesterday in Parliament received 342 votes for and 74 against, and will come into full effect in England and Wales on October 1st. Pro-smoking campaigners are calling the ban excessive and saying it's not needed. Our correspondent Ilka Rogers joins me in the studio. Ilka, what is the ban all about?
The ban is to protect children from secondhand smoking. Figures show that over 800 children are taken to the doctors for illnesses attributed by secondhand smoking. So that's what it's all about, protecting children.
Why are smokers disagreeing with the legislation?
The smoking campaigners are disagreeing with it because it's blurring the boundaries between private and the public. The ban is for smoking in private cars, and they believe that in your privacy you should be able to do what you want to do. So, but like the MPs and those have suggested, it's all about the children and protecting children.
So what impact does smoking have on children here in Birmingham?
In Birmingham, over 4,500 people die from smoking-related diseases. So it trickles down to the children as well. You have children going in and out of the NHS every day, they say, for asthma, meningitis. All of these things are affected by smoking. So that is what it's all about.
Thank you very much, Ilka. Uber, the controversial taxi booking app, has now come to Birmingham. The app allows users to hire private cabs using 3 smartphones. It launches alongside Get Taxi, another digital taxi service, which is exclusive to traditional black cabs. But the launch of Uber in London last year saw cab drivers going on strike, saying that it creates unfair competition. Our correspondent Sandaya Aya has this report.
Birmingham is the 4th city in the UK to get Uber after London, Manchester and Leeds. The app operates on the same fare calculation model as the conventional taximeter, which only the black cabs are legally allowed to use. Customers need to register using their credit or debit card details before signing into the app. Uber also gives users a fair estimate of their journey before the cab arrives. Uber has been criticised in different parts of the world for different reasons. One of the major concerns raised by users is being charged high fares during peak periods of travel. Speaking to BBC's Midlands Today, Uber UK General Manager Joe Bertram said that users are paying a premium when there really is more demand than supply can fulfil. While Uber is restricted to payment by card, Get Taxi accepts cash as well. The latter also claims to offer 24-hour UK customer support and future bookings up to 2 weeks in advance. Both apps also assure safety by confirming the driver's name, photo and vehicle registration to users.
This Wednesday, there will be a public debate in Birmingham about the Kerslake Review. It's the first public debate for several years, the last one with it to discuss whether we wanted an elected mayor. So why is this one being held and who is going to be at it? To tell us more, I'm joined by our reporter, Anita Shida. Anita, remind us what the Kerslake Review is.
Well, this was a review of the governance and organizational capabilities of Birmingham City Council made by Sir Bob Kerslake, who is Secretary at the Department for Communities and Local Government. And this report was a consequence of the Trojan horse, and it was important because it revealed the dysfunctional politics and culture of Birmingham City Council. And in order to solve these problems, Bob Kerslake makes some recommendations. He said there is a blurring of roles between members and officers, the relationship needs to be reset, and officers need to have the space to manage. And he also stated the necessity of developing credible plans to fight against the budget issues.
So why is there this Kerslake Review debate?
Well, there is a feeling that there should be more discussion around this review because it has not really been democratically discussed. And this is the reason why Pauline Geoghegan, who is running News in Broome, has set up this public debate.
And who is going to be there?
Well, so far over 70 people has registered to come, and in the panel the three main universities in the city are represented, and the chair is Diane Kemp from BCU, and the other panelist members are David Bales from Aston University and Catherine State, who runs the Institute for Local Government at the University of Birmingham. And I must say that this debate is not party political, and this makes it even more interesting, so I advise all the students at BCU to go to the council chamber next Wednesday to become aware of the political future of this city.
Thank you very much. And that debate is taking place on Wednesday 18th at 6 o'clock. Now, according to a poll of 11,000 people in 24 cities around the world, the British accent was the most attractive. Zijen Wang went out for Second City News to find out more.
Depends on what type of British accent, because posh British is nice, but Scouse is the worst.
I think it's quite surprising, really.
Genuinely, in the world, people think that British accents some kind of fashion, which I think is not necessary because each language is different in its own way, and the fact that British accent sounds better is just coincidence, I think.
I don't agree to say that it's the best accent, because obviously if somebody comes from a different part of the world, they speak with a different sort of accent, and I don't think there's any actual accent that's called best.
Personally, I don't think there's any one British accent, so it's kind of hard to say because obviously there's not just one, there's loads depending on where you come from.
People on the street in Birmingham has different view with British accent. Professor Ursula Clark comes from Aston University, director of the West Midlands English, Speech and Society Project.
And maybe why it's perceived to be attractive is firstly because it is the oldest variety of English in the world. We have many varieties of English today for lots and lots of reasons, historical, economic, all sorts, but British English is the oldest. You could say that there has been exposure for a much greater length of time in the world to British English than, say, newer varieties, particularly American English. But I think I'm pretty right in thinking that it's unique to the UK that it still has a world broadcasting service and a global organisation like the British Council to promote the English language.
British has various accents. Birmingham also got its own accent. When people rate for the attractive accent to British, Brummy accent are always in the bottom. Professor Clark analysed the reason for us.
I think it's a lot to do with media stereotypes. So the media will stereotype characters on television. So if somebody, very often if a character is portrayed as being not particularly intelligent, then often that is signalled by them having a Brummy accent. If you want to show them as perhaps a bit of what we call a wide boy, somebody who's kind of wheeling and dealing, then they'll have a Cockney persona. So I think a lot of it is to do with these persistent media stereotypes.
More than 40 Birmingham bars and clubs are planning to use breathalyzers on customers before they are allowed in a bid to slash post-field violence. These bars have signed up to a new policy and council-backed scheme that is being rolled out in Broad Street, Digbeth and Hurst Street. Any customer registering a reading of more than double the 35 mg drink drive limit could be refused entry. Police are keen to stress that other factors will also be taken into account by the pub and bar staff, including demeanour and other signs of drunkenness. 7th of February was National Lottery Day. While there were several events being planned across the city, the Library of Birmingham is due to undergo major cuts in terms of staff and opening hours. But how important are libraries? Do we still value them? We asked you what they give us in today's world.
It's really important for a sense of community, really.
Nice place, nice atmosphere to carry on building your knowledge throughout life for anyone at any age.
It's good for information and you can learn things, and you've got free access to the computer, so then you can just do a variety of things.
I think that it's very important for people who are researching
There's a very useful library.
When I first started studying, I said the library was an asset.
You can use the internet if you haven't got it at home. You can get access to books and films and all that sort of thing.
Last weekend saw the city play host to a meeting of the Radical Film Network. More than 100 people attended the event at Birmingham City University. At the Taya Chemnam asked the organizer, Steve Presence, what a radical film actually is.
For us at the Radical Film Network, our interpretation of the word radical is primarily a political one, in the sense that the people involved and the films that we make and show and talk about and write about advocate radical political change from the kind of left-wing view of society, so progressive radical change, if you like. But there are other ways of thinking about radicalism in cinema as well. So you can think about it from an aesthetic point of view. So we're interested in films that shake up the codes and conventions of moving image media.
So about the conference, what do you expect that when you collect most people that interested in this topic? What do you expect is going to happen?
A lot of things. I guess when you just get people together in a space that have shared interests, they meet and talk and new work happens. So it'll be really exciting to bring everyone together. The Radical Film Network is kind of it's meant to provide an infrastructure, a support infrastructure to people that are engaged in radical film culture from a variety of different perspectives. So not just filmmakers, but also film festivals, curators, academics, programmers, distribution platforms, basically everyone who's interested or involved or has a stake in film culture that's aligned with the politics of the radical libertarian left. So we'll get together, meet one another and talk about how we can support each other to kind of continue our work and to expand and plan the future for the network.
Finally, if you want to see something incredible made entirely of brown paper, you should head down to Birmingham City University's Parkside building, as Priya reports.
Brown paper rolled up into like strong tubes, and then like we use like tape and glue and stuff like that obviously, but it's all brown paper.
And the weather for the rest of the day. Top temperatures of 7 degrees with some light rain. It will stay pretty much the same tomorrow and a bit drier, if misty, on Sunday. That's it for Second City News. See you next Friday. Have a good weekend.